It's break time. Welcome to our 7th episode. It's your co-host, Rissy Ray,
Hey, hey.
and yours truly, Kaninja. Today, Rissy and I wanted to start out the new year with talking about what is to come in 2021 and maybe something we are planning and some things that we are planning to make this year a better mood than last year. Or the year that shall not be named. 2020.
Yes.
So, basically, let's just talk about 2020 or the year that shall not be named. Let's sum that up. The good, bad, and the ugly. Rissy, what good happened in 2020 for you?
Let me tell you, Kaninja. Okay. So for 2020, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in the
Woohoo!
summer. Yes.
Hey.
It actually with the pandemic start. Well, it did start back in December, but like when we had to change up kind of how we live, how we worked, and all those big changes back in March. I was taking like a 17 course load
Mm.
to ensure that I graduated in the summer with 2 classes type deal. And so it was very intense because I'm like, you're dealing with that, and we made it. I passed the class, all my classes.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So it set me up so that I only had 2 classes to take in 20 for the summer of 2020, and then I was admitted to the master's graduate program. I switched my program, by the way. Like first I was in the MBA program,
Mm-hmm.
and with the pandemic and stuff like that, I was just kind of thinking like, you know what, life is too short. Let me go and change up. And so originally, again, my master's was in teaching. Oh no, that's what it is now. It was in an MBA, a master's of business administration. I changed to Master of Arts in Teaching. So I'm liking the idea of winter break and summers off. Liking that idea.
So Rissy's gonna be a teacher, y'all.
At some point. So I'm very excited. So that was a good part. With the change of life and school and children, I was able to spend more time with my little one, my partner. So that was nice to kind of be able to spend more time with her than I usually would if I was working physically at my 8 to 5 and she was physically in school. So that was the good part. Our break room podcast started, so that's been good. So the bad, I mean, at first I was gaining weight like no other.
Who you telling?
So I was like, oh no, and just trying to figure out like financially how to just to be better financially with everything. So that was kind of a struggle, and now So I mean, we ended up on top. I will say that with everything that considered health and family and things like that, I was very blessed to not be affected by COVID, where I'm dealing with whatever, like being in ventilators, being in the hospital.
Right.
So those are things I'm very thankful that I didn't have to deal with my little one, because you know that with the virus, it affects children a lot differently, and I, knock on wood, I've not experienced that. I hope I don't get to experience that. And wrap up 2020 been good. It's been good. I'm excited to see what else happens, because my classes start back up in January. I switched my program after I took my first 2 courses in the in the master's program.
Right.
I switched just because of different things considered, and I honestly had a break. So after I switched, after my first set of classes were done in October, been a break, been breaking, and classes start back up in January. So I'm very excited. I'm excited about what's going on,
Awesome.
and taxes. So I gotta, January we file taxes to get a refund in March, my birthday month. So I'm excited.
Totally forgot about taxes.
Oh, dude, I'm happy. I am super ready, because I thought about it. I was like, oh snap! But with me, obviously, because I'm in school,
Mm-hmm.
I'm enrolled, and I have to wait for those tax statements for each school institution to
Oh
provide. So I have
yeah.
that on top of my regular other junk that you put up in there. So, but yeah, dude, the second week of January, we're going to the office. and we're gonna get this taken care of. So yes.
Nice.
So
That's
good, bad, and the
nice.
ugly, Kaninja. What you got going on?
Man, all I'm thinking is that the Rona couldn't keep you down. That's just what it is. You just kept going, so I don't have much to top that. Not a lot happened. Um, so definitely 2020 was really the first year. Yeah, the first year I was able to work remotely. So getting that kind of experience to really see if I can do it working remotely
Mhm.
and having to deal with certain events at my job. Like we have these certain big room planning events. And so we had to do that remotely, try to figure out new technology and tools to do that. So that was pretty fun. But I did find out that I'd rather be working in the office than working remotely. I'm just more productive that way. But I got engaged. So that's
Whoop
a super good. So
whoop!
no longer the single lady. So
I know. Last holidays being a single chick, having these extra options and blah blah blah. Like you can go, we can kick you off the bus, either you on our bus, we dropping you off. It's over now.
yeah, yeah. So he's staying on the bus. It's a permanent bus mate. So so that was a good. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I mean, not a lot. Like for me, not a lot happened. We were still able to go to Las Vegas, go to Myrtle Beach. So we were still able to do some vacation. The bad is that our cruises got canceled. So we were supposed to go on a cruise actually in January. I don't know if I would call that a 2020 the bad, but because of 2020, it got canceled, so I'm blaming it on 2020.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, but that was got canceled, so that's unfortunate. Was it 21st century problems?
Like, my vacation, my cruise to the where? Where were you going?
My cruise got canceled. It's so bad.
Oh yeah,
So
my cruise
I,
to the Bahamas.
I think we were supposed to go to like Cozumel and Coco Cay.
All those fun places. That's when you're like, oh my gosh, it got canceled. So,
So bad.
can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Because you're not the only person that dealt with, their cruise being canceled or things like that. Are you being refunded, or how are they treating you guys as credits, or how did the company word it for you guys?
So yeah, so you can do multiple different things. You have a choice of doing multiple different things. If you end up wanting to get a credit, you actually get 125% cruise credit. And then you have to book it within 2021. I get to book the cruise for 2020. Like you have to do the booking in 2021, but the cruise could be either in 2021 or 2022.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
you could do that, or you can get a full refund, which is 100%. And I think there's a third option too, but those are really the main two options. So what I ended up doing, okay, so I felt pretty good about myself about this epiphany. My mom
Uh-huh.
kept on telling me, hey, do the 125%, so then you can put that towards the honeymoon. And I was like, well, I would, but my fiance wanted to get the full refund so we can use that for bills and stuff that we need to pay for now. So I
Oh.
was like, well, now I'm toss up because I can't do half and half because my
No, you
fiance
can't.
I really can't. So basically, let's see, my fiance and I were in the same reservation. So it's either full refund or 125%. So I was talking to my travel agent. I think he's from Avoya Travel. He's amazing. His name is Tom Dunsmore.
Hey,
Been
Tom.
plug in there. So he helped me out by trying to figure out what we could do. So I was like, okay, let's do a full refund. But I had to send because I used my card for the full amount. So at that point, I was like, okay, well, if I get the amount, then I can just send my fiance. I'm gonna not use my fiance's name, so I'm gonna call him. Give me a name, Rissy.
Woo! I thought of the name.
What was the name? Give me a name.
Oh, Tyler.
Tyler. Okay. So, in this podcast, my fiance's name is Tyler. It's not, but we're gonna use Tyler. So, Tyler wanted the full refund. Oh, this is weird. Tyler wanted the full refund. And so I figured I'll send Tyler his portion of the refund from my account, just give him a full thing, and then I'll just get the full refund in my account and then put the amount that I want to put towards the honeymoon that way. So, okay, cool. I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm super smart. Then I got off the phone because Tom Dunsmore from Avoya Travel,
Oh
he
yeah.
he told me, he's like, okay, well, if you wanted to, you can get the 125%. Then I was thinking, as soon as I got off the phone, I was like, you know what? What I could do is do the 125%. Send Tyler the money that he would have gotten, and I'll just use that extra 125% towards my portion of the honeymoon cruise.
Since you guys had two separate reservations instead of one, right?
Well, we had one reservation for the both of us,
Mm-hmm.
but I had the money already that I could give Tyler the amount.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I just figured, instead of trying to do this whole roundabout way, let's just do the 125. I'll just send Tyler the money. And then I'll just have to owe less on my portion of the honeymoon cruise. And then he'll just have to owe more, of course.
You made sure that you came on top. Forget Tyler. You're like, Tyler, you want your money? Fine. But I'm coming up on top because we're going to a cruise at some point in time. But
Um,
hey, you want your money now. So, okay.
how I saw it was a win-win. So I checked with Tyler and he said, yeah, go for it. Let's do it. So I was like, okay, awesome. So I called Tom back and he was just like, yeah, we could totally do that. Let's do the 125%. So we were able to fully pay off our first cruise. So for our honeymoon, we're going on 2 cruises, like 2 7-night cruises back to back. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so the first cruise was already paid off from that 125.
Boom.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, awesome." And then all I have to owe on the second cruise is like 400 and something dollars, or like 4 or 600 and something dollars.
That's
And
not bad.
then Tyler has to pay the rest.
An undisclosed amount for Tyler.
Not a disclosed amount.
Well, see, and that's really good to know. So, question: since
Mhm.
you do utilize your travel agent, do you encourage people to use a travel agent, or so a lot of people do use like Booking, Travelocity? You've heard them all,
Yeah.
or they directly go to Carnival or to whichever one. There's other ones.
So
Uh,
our travel agent really helped us out. So I would suggest using a travel agent as long as you don't have to pay them. Like, you have to find a travel agent that the company that you're trying to get it from pays them and not you. So,
okay.
like, with Tom, you don't have to pay him, but he gets paid by Royal Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so every person that he gets booked through him, he gets, like, a check, but it's not out of our pocket, it's out of Royal Caribbean's pocket.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. And he's great. I mean, basically, he was able to lower our rates or find lower rates that we couldn't have
Mhm.
found. Or if we find a lower rate, like after we book a cruise, and let's say we go on Priceline or Travelocity or wherever, and we're able to try to find a cruise at a lower rate, we're able to call him, show him what we found, and he can get it like a price match.
Oh, okay.
hmm So he can adjust our rates and say, "Oh, you found it for cheaper? Let's adjust it so it'll be cheaper that way." So we don't have to worry
Mhm.
about canceling and redoing or whatever. So he can handle all of that. And if we have, let's say, we had a bad experience on Royal Caribbean, we
Mhm.
can talk to him and he can help us through that process. And we may be able to get a cruise credit. So maybe like $100 an onboard credit.
Oh.
Yeah. So we've been using him for, man, probably part of the past like 15 years. I'm old. For the past
Let me tell you, I don't know what you guys gonna do when he says, "Hey, I'm retiring next week."
Imma
Um,
cry.
say, "Hey, I'm hanging up my travel hat. I'm about to go home. Like I'm done.
Right.
Oh, okay. So it was you turned a negative to a good thing, which was like, okay, yeah, it bonded you. Has had a cruise plan, you had traveling plan, and you were able to turn it around with Tom,
Hmm.
and he was able to figure it out.
Exactly, exactly. So that was a little bit of both the bad and the good, which was good. So, let's see. There was, I mean, most of it was planning for the wedding,
Woo woo.
like near the end, whoop, whoop, and with work. So, like one thing that I'm not really looking forward to because of 2020 with where I work, there's a really good chance that we're not going to get a bonus.
Da, da, da.
Yeah. So usually every year I bank on a bonus, which I really shouldn't. So we'll have a podcast on financials at one point, but I really shouldn't bank on bonuses, and I use it for stuff around the house. Like for 2020 when I got a bonus, I used it to get a patio in my backyard, like a stone patio. Other than the accident that I had probably in 2017 when I got the hardwood floors upstairs.
Oh yeah, let's yeah, you definitely heard because you got your accent and I got my accent. And we're just like, we paid off debt. We bought things that we couldn't pay for.
Look, all I'm gonna say, it is bad when, in a way, you kind of want to get into an accident so you can pay off some debt.
Because that's the first thing. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes down to accidents, call us, email the break room, because she, the amount of money that you received, I don't know the exact dollar amount. All I know is that somebody was able to do some heavy renovations in their home. That's all I got to say. I do not know the dollar amount. Somebody was able to do awesome
with,
renovations
without a lawyer.
without a lawyer. Okay, so she banked and I had enough to move out comfortably this time. Comfortably
Moral
move
of the
out.
story: get
So
into an accident.
in the accident. Just in the accident.
We are not condoning this behavior.
Right, but guess what? When it happened to us, we're like, oh, we knew 3 things we wanted to take care of. We're like,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
we're like, don't worry about my neck. Don't worry about my back. We want these hardwood floors.
Exactly. We're like, oh, you could have died. Okay, I understand, but I didn't. So let's get this rolling. We know what we
Exactly. No, I'm not gonna waste any more time.
no, 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 no. Stiff neck and all. No, 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 no.
No, 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 no. With a neck brace. That
Yes. So that is too much fun. But yes,
wasn't
so
even
that's a side
2020.
note. It was just literally us just like, you know what? We did good. We did good because we're looking back at what 2020 gave us. And what I think is very interesting, which I think we had like a conversation about this before, is like this year gave a lot of people, um, the word I'm thinking of, reflection.
Hmm.
Lots of reflection was happening on my timeline on my Instagram. Like, huh?
Yeah,
Like,
about family stuff.
yeah, like so much about family and friends and who you should keep in your circle and all that other stuff. And I called you, didn't I? I know I talked to you
Hmm.
about it. I was like, we been did this. What are you talking about? Like,
That was in 2011.
right? Like we were always, and I think with everything, it gave certain. Maybe I feel like we can all be in the same storm.
Hmm.
No, this is a good saying that someone told me, and you know who you are. We're all in the same storm. Some of us are in boats. Some of us are in yachts. Some of us are paddling on a random wood, but we're all in the same situation. It's
Mm.
just where we are with the situation. So, for example, with this whole with working from home, or at least like a lot of distractions. lot less distractions for people who are easily distracted.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Mm.
So, like for example, like a lot of people who, because I spoke to someone the other day about like their relationship,
Mhm.
how they were at some point just going with the motion, just with they have the work, they have the kids, they have this and that, so, different events and all stuff. So they kept busy,
Yeah.
and they realized, with a lot of that stuff like crossing it out, they're looking at other people like, "Are you worth my time?" Like,
Oh.
really thinking pretty much from our episode with relationships during the pandemic. It's like you really had to look at yourself and you're like, do you like what you see? Do
Yeah.
you really like what you see? And I think a lot of people, it gave people the opportunity to reflect,
Mhm. Mhm.
because a lot of things that they were saying on the timelines of different things, I'm just like, I've been to this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was
Mhm.
one of those things where I'm like, I'm talking to you, like, what is up with this? But again, everyone's in the same storm, but everybody's prepared differently. We've
Right.
always had a focus. We've always, obviously everyone deals with distractions, but to remain grounded and be mindful of your environment, who you bring into it, taking it out. Uh,
Right.
that's something that we've done. Just that's just a year thing. Like, like we just always done it. So it's like I'm like, y'all's tired to the party. I'm glad that people are doing it, but I've noticed that it's a lot of reflection, like a lot of reflection for a lot of people. That's what I'm seeing anyway.
I can totally see that. I mean, trying to really look at your situation and seeing what is worth it and what's not worth it. And a lot of people are finding out the family is worth it, but like you said, like friends or certain things when jobs or anything along those lines, like people who are considered essential workers but are working at a grocery store and have to deal
Mhm.
with certain people who are rude or who won't put their mask on, they're probably thinking, this is not worth it. I've been at this company for 15 years, but this is how I'm really being treated.
Right, where you may have already been kind of treated a certain way. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like you've already been kind of, but you're like, well, and your reasoning for it. And
Right.
now with everything considered, you're like, wow, I don't like this.
Right. And it's coming to a head where you're just like, oh, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. And
Hmm.
really pushing people, like we were talking about relationships, pushing people with their own relationships and saying, you're stuck with this person in this house for 24/7. And you're like, wow, this person is annoying as hell. Or, wow, I really love this person. Or some sort of shift to how you feel towards people. I mean, I usually keep my circle fairly small,
Right,
for a
right.
reason. And
Hmm.
the same with you, your close circle, I would say you keep that fairly small. You have more friends than I do. But
Well, the ones that I'll call in the middle of the night and be like, "Hey, I'm in Mexico, and I need you. I need you to send me a what they call a moneygram, and you send me a moneygram from the Food Lion. So tell me when you done with the Western Union. My bad. Send me a Western Union.
my first question would be like, why? Why are you in Mexico? I'll send you the money, but why are you in
Right,
Mexico?
exactly. Now look at you being my A1 since day one. You're like, I'm gonna send it to you anyway. But
I'm gonna need to know the story.
right, we need to know. And that's true. You gotta keep it small. You gotta keep it small because I've spoken to other people where they've been in like fruitless friendships,
Hmm.
and not just friends, family as well. And I thought it was interesting. They were like, "I want to focus on me and all this other stuff," and I've heard it from lots of people. So it's, anybody listening, I heard it from not just you. It's a bunch of you, and I'm
Yeah.
just gonna focus on me. And I'm like, okay, like what does that mean? Like,
Right.
I guess that's why I was trying to understand, like, what does that mean? So I'm like, I asked like a follow up question, like, so like, what are your goals from that? Like, what is your ideal person? So
Right.
if you're telling me that, hey, I'm you know no fake friends, blah blah blah, whatever, type deal, you're just like, hey, I'm just gonna focus on me. What does that mean?
Hmm.
What does that consist of? So, for example, I'm just going to use a random example, it's not anyone in particular. Let's say you hang out, like you got going out friends, like you go out to concerts, movies, things like that, right? So those are your going out friends. Well, you found out that your going out friends are fake, and so an incident happened, and you have now deemed them not friends,
Right.
right? So, and you're saying now I'm going to focus on me. So, what does that mean? Are you now, is your vision of you doing that? It means that you're going to go out by yourself, because
Hmm.
that's fine. Does that mean you're going to go and find new people to go out with? Or are you going to change the whole game up and you're going to be at home more
Right.
and find activities that you can do on your own versus having to be around other people? Like, what is that? I guess
Right.
that's what I was trying to understand. Like, okay, because what's your version of that, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So you have to have a plan. If you're going to say, I'm going to focus on me, you have to have a plan. I mean, that's whenever I feel like for myself, I'm going to focus on me. That's a tough journey. When you focus on yourself, typically, I would think you're focusing on who you are as a person and really trying to get inside of your own psyche, inside of your own mind and your feelings, as well as how you think, to really see what works and what doesn't work for you, and not letting other people dictate or change that for you. But you're right. I mean, if that could be not someone else's plan when they're talking about, I'm going to focus on me or doing something else, because you're like, well, I'm still going to go out and do my own thing. I'm going to be better with being alone,
Right.
instead of having to have people with me. And like, that totally makes sense too. But if you're going to go on this, introspective journey, like within yourself, you definitely have to have a plan, because you're just going to be swimming in this storm with like a floaty.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I
Yeah.
was like, I guess that's what I was thinking. Cause like you gotta, you focus on you, and then what? Like what to me it feels like step one.
Right. Exactly. And that kind of goes with, we're seeing a lot of people who are trying to do more reflections on themselves. But I mean, I've seen more reflections on other people. I mean, like, this is how people react during situations like this.
Hmm.
Aside from politics, aside from, how certain people react on either side, we won't get into that today, but we will get into either side. You have one perspective, how you feel about the other side. But you're really looking at how people react during situations that happen in 2020. And it really makes you second guess, just your relationships with people other than just friends, but with family and or just even strangers. I've had I overheard a conversation with my parents, and my mom was just like, "Yeah, I saw a person who didn't have their mask on." And so I told them, "Hey, you should put your mask on." And the guy told her, "You should mind your own business." And so my dad was just like, "Yeah, you really shouldn't be talking to people like that because you don't know if you're going to get shot." Like, what? We're having these conversations?
Oh,
Right? We're having these conversations. If I go up to someone and saying, "Hey, maybe you should put your mask on," don't say that because you can get shot? Like, what? It, this world, at least for me, and this is the ugly, right? This is the ugly that 2020 kind of gave a little bit. It gave a ugly truth of how certain people are and how much fear that we can give each other and ourselves in different situations.
oh, absolutely,
Yeah. And I don't even
absolutely.
know. I don't even know in 2020, like in this year, because we're in 2021 now. I don't even know how that's gonna like. Is everyone gonna go back to normal whenever we get the vaccines? Or I mean, in some places have gotten vaccines at this point. But are we gonna go back to normal, or in quote normal, which is basically fake? What's gonna happen if there's an apocalypse? People are gonna kill each other before the actual issue that's gonna kill us is gonna kill us.
Whew.
How bad is that?
It's pretty bad. So hey, we've already talked about this. I'm wearing my mask even past this.
Mhm.
Like
Mm.
one, even though they go to the first thing. But I see what you're saying. Like that's how ugly, where it's just like you're thinking of that everyone has at least the basic understanding of the common good.
Yeah.
that you know, and to have people like, hey, I'm not wearing a mask because it's against my whatever reason.
My
You're just
human
like,
right. Well, fine. I'm not gonna wear a bra.
exactly, and I want to like, but then we have issues with, but you want to cover up if someone wants to breastfeed in public, and I
Right.
understand. Like, you know, like, hey, if you have a breastfed baby, that's what it is, a
Mhm.
breastfed baby.
Mhm.
That's it.
But you don't.
And
Oh, go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
no, no, you no get hype because there was such a whole update, like it was such a whole uproar of like women just being in a restaurant and just popping their, you know, feeding their baby. I was at somewhere DMV. I was somewhere where it was different people sitting, and
Mhm.
this lady just baby was hungry, pop, you know, did what she
Yeah.
did. I'm like, hey, you know, whatever. I mean, the whole part of like covering up, whatever. The baby getting fed because guess what? The baby, you saw the baby and
Mhm.
the baby was skinny and malnourished,
Mhm.
somebody's calling the cops on
Right.
somebody,
You're
okay?
damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
And the baby was healthy. I'm like, hey, I wouldn't personally do it, but I understand sometimes you gotta, because that's what happened to me. One time, my little one, I was breastfeeding at the time, and she was just having a moment. I'm like, I think I need to feed her. So I
Mhm.
got the back seat. I love this dress. I ripped this dress. And so she's eating like, and I'm in the backseat of the car, like no extra, you know, blankets at the time, because it was just a lot going on, you know, crying babies and all that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, just in my car, and I'm just like, you know, someone might see that and just knock on your door and be like, hey, cover up, you know, there's
Yeah.
kids out here,
Then don't look. I
don't
mean,
look.
those same people who want you to cover up when you're breastfeeding are the same people who refuse to wear a mask.
Like
How does
what?
that make sense?
It doesn't. It's like what's and honestly, like think about the logic. Like going to the restaurant, right?
Mhm.
They allow you to take your mask off as soon as you get seated.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, I've seen people go to the bathroom because you know you're still thinking, you know, we've been maskless for so many years, right? That you
Mhm.
know it's you can't remember all the time. Okay, so I've seen people go to the bathroom without their mask. It be like that sometimes because you just
Yeah.
took your mask off while eating. But
Right.
it literally takes like 2 seconds, and then sometimes you can even wait outside if you gotta wait a little bit. You know how that goes.
Mhm.
You just wait outside, tell them to call you when your table's ready, come inside, sit, and take the mask off. Like, what?
Exactly. It's like bringing your wallet somewhere, or it's like bringing a jacket somewhere. It's just an extra accessory that you wear for the comfort of well, for your own safety and for others. And I know
Mhm.
we're bringing up the mask again in COVID, but come on, guys. 2020, that's all we really dealt with.
Right, and then I go to AC places anyway, so I go to the
Mhm.
mall. So I go to the mall. Yeah, it might be a little bit, you know, like when I'm walking to the car. Well, now it's cold, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you walk in, you get in
Mhm.
there, it's AC. Go to the grocery
Mhm.
store, AC. I mean,
Right.
it's not like we're outside in the hot sun wearing, you know, masks. Like, and there's alternatives. There's always alternatives.
Yeah, exactly. But
So
that
yes, that's the ugly part. I know you're like, is it that serious? Yes, it is.
Yeah, that is the ugly part. And I feel so bad for so many people who have lost their jobs or have quit their jobs because of these situations. Silly, stupid, yeah, I'm gonna say it. These silly, stupid situations. And people had to quit, get fired, or get laid off from their jobs because people cannot just put on a freaking mask and they make a big stink about it. Like, I saw this one video on Facebook, and this lady refused to put her mask on because she's like, "Well, I'm not gonna walk 5 feet just to take it off." Well, why don't you just keep it on, walk 5 feet so you can take it off instead of making a big stink. She refused to put her mask on for the next, like, 10 minutes of this video. The
Mm-mm.
lady working there was trying to be as nice as she could. The hostess, she's like, "I cannot let you in until you have a mask on." Her boyfriend was like, "Just put a mask on," and she still refused to do it. The manager came up, tried to talk to her, still a huge issue, and I guess the manager would start yelling at the girl that was working there. The girl freaking quit right then and there. She's like, "I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of having to deal with this crap because you won't put a mask on and I get in trouble."
Mhm.
she freaking quit. And it's just like, and then the lady freaking put the mask on right after. She's like, fine, I'll put my mask on. Oh, so after that happened. Are you kidding me? Come on. And that's
Jesus.
the ugly of 2020, that people really need to start looking within themselves and how they're treating other people. Because people are treating other people pretty freaking ugly. And it's just not right. It's not right.
It's not, just side note, it's the same jobs I gotta do with these crap people get paid like what? Since get paid well, I say they get paid cents for what they do.
Mhm.
Like the front lines. So the front lines, people who continue to work
Mhm.
and mm,
Yeah, exactly. What was it? You and I were talking about the stimulus check, and we'll talk a little bit about this. We'll have another podcast about this. But at one point they were trying to do 1,200, and you were saying you were doing the math on that. What was the math again?
sure. So with the math of 1200, right? So they took my conspiracy theory is is that they took the minimum wage, which is 7.25, times it by 40 hours, and did for 4 weeks, like kind of like a month, and it equaled out to 1,011.60, rounded up 1,200.
Yeah. So 1,200 guys, 1,200 a month people are making, and they're being considered the essential workers, and the minimal amount they're making is 1,200. Now I wonder how many of people out there that their mortgage is not at least that amount more, or at least probably like half. Well, I mean, half is 600. I mean, that's good. If you have a mortgage of 600, or like a rent at 600, I know someone who's renting 700, so that's more than half. I mean, come on. Then you have all the other bills on top of that. How is that living on top of dealing with the abuse that they deal with every single day, on top of having the freaking pandemic? Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
freaking ridiculous. We're gonna go on to a whole other rant. That's the ugly. The ugly is that.
is just do what you gotta do. It's not that serious. I understand that we're all adults, pay bills. We do do what you want to do, but this is kind of like like no shoes, no service type deal.
Yeah. No mask, no service. Get with it.
Yeah,
Get with the program.
I mean, because if I go to a restaurant and someone wants to walk in there barefooted, I'll be like, hey,
Want your nasty feet. Nasty feet all the damn floor.
right, right. Think about it though. I technically never touched their feet, right?
Hmm.
But the fact is, hey, no feet, ew. Okay, well,
Yeah.
mask on right now. Like,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
Exactly. But people who just sit down, they take off their shoes sometimes. You have people do that in
Ew,
restaurants?
ew.
Yeah.
Where
Do
you
that.
see that? Where you
The-
see that?
Dude, I've seen it at like Applebee's. I've seen it at like a Chili's. Places like that. They just sit down, and some people just like take off their shoes, and I'm like, that's what we're doing. But no one's gonna say anything because they're at their table or whatever. It's just the same thing with masks. But anyway,
They
on
need to
that
go
note,
home. They need to go home and order takeout and do that crap. Sorry.
you're so right. You're so right. So on that note, we are gonna go on a break. We had this just some ranting, so I think we all need a break on this one. We'll be coming back, and we'll be talking about 2021 this year, and our plans and what we're looking forward to. So with that, we'll be back.
All right.
And we're back. So on our break, well, on the break, I had this drink. I'm actually drinking this drink, and I forgot to tell you, Rissy. It's called Coquito. So
Oh,
yeah, it is a Puerto Rican. It's kind of like a Puerto Rican eggnog, and it's spiked, so it has rum in it. And my Tyler's mom showed me how to make it. So now I have a straw with all this Coquito in it. And I've been
wow.
drinking it. So
Wow. I'm glad Tyler mama came through.
she always comes through.
She always comes through. That's awesome. I didn't do nothing on the break, unfortunately. Um, I took nope, not gonna do it. I took water.
You sure you're not gonna do it?
I just drank water.
Is that it?
Yes, the purest form of water you can get from the heavens is what I drank.
Nothing else?
Nothing else. Yeah, that was my break right there.
So
Thinking
break
about
room.
stuff. Thinking about stuff, girl. Okay.
I was saying, okay, break room buddies. If you found out what Rissy had during the break, leave a comment. Leave a guess of what she had during her break.
Oh goodness, I was thirsty. Dude, because I was really thirsty. Because I was thinking about just what we spoke on the first part, right?
Hmm.
And in the midst of all that, I did a lot of talking. I was like, "Oh Lord Jesus, I need." First, I thought I need liquor. I said, "I need liquor,"
That's why I got what I got.
but then I was like, you've been drinking the liquor a lot lately.
So let's resort to something else.
Let's drink some water. Let's drink some all natural water to see if we can calm this down, whatever we're going through. And that's
Is it
where we are.
working?
You're not helping. Let's say that because you know that I drunk the purest form of water there is on this
To
goddamn
calm you
earth.
down?
Yes, that it doesn't help. You're not helping because you're calm down, right? Woo!
Amazing. All right. So that was our break. So here's the 2021. What have we planned? So, Rissy, what are your plans for this year? Do you have any New Year's resolutions that you've made? Any plans that you already got like set forward for 2021? COVID is behind us or almost behind us with the vaccines. What do you have planned for 2021?
For 2021, I do want to continue personal growth. I guess I'm not sure where it is,
Okay.
like which area. But I know that I want to keep pursuing. I don't want to keep. I want to complete my master's. So
Hmm.
no breaks. I'm still continuing to complete classes, which I feel like I need to take like a fuller load. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know. My attention span. I think we in our prior episode. I have a terrible attention span, and if I do full time, it helps me be great.
Okay.
So still enrolled in my master's. Try to complete that. Obviously not this year, but I mean not 2021, but for 2022.
Hmm.
Personal growth. I would like to continue this healthy eating that I've been doing. I changed my eating habits like full circle during the pandemic. So I would like to still keep up. Sometimes you might have some down days and things like that, but I do like the fact that now my body is craving vegetables, craving fruit, craving water. I do sometimes drink soda, but I make my own soda at home. I have a machine, so I
Oh.
don't feel like I get a lot. Yeah, I know. It's the baby wanted it. She said, "You gonna get this?" I said, "Okay." Like I felt like she's trying to tell me that I need this. So
You're like, yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am. Okay, swipe, swipe. I can make my own soda. So whenever I have the craving for like Dr Pepper or Cheer, like something like a dark flavored soda, then I can make my own soda.
Is that
But
that
it's
fizzy? Like, I think it's called like fizzy or something like that. And you have your own syrup that goes in it.
Yeah, so you put your own syrup. I think it's called Soda Stream. Is
Okay,
it?
okay.
And it's just a single machine, and I mean, you can make your own sparkling and stuff too. It's just I use the syrup to make soda for it. So I want to continue to make homemade meals. I have been doing that, like whenever, like for example, I love General Tso's chicken,
Ah.
so I've been making it at home to obviously cost because honestly, all you need is a jar of the sauce. Aldi's has the best flavor of all time. Just
Okay.
so you already buying chicken. You already have the stuff at home anyway. You just need the jar that's like $3 or $4. That's it. And then you can make it at home. You can make more at home, and you can kind of watch how much grease and all this other stuff that you're using. So
Oh
I would like to continue like the healthy eating habits. Dating. So dating, I think that's just. Mm-mm. I'm just gonna focus on. Mm-mm, uh-uh. I'm just gonna focus on what Rissy Ray got going on, what we're pursuing, the goals, try to be a better mom, improvements of being a mom because I have a 5-year-old who will turn 6. So I'm just trying to be there for her because oh my goodness, when she has her first, you know what? I'm gonna be spazzing out. When she has
Yep.
her first, I'm like, oh Lord Jesus, I'm like, no, no.
No, don't be that old.
Because I'm not ready. So yeah, so I like to be better for her, and like I said, dating. I'm just like, it's okay, it's okay. Because right now with that COVID dating, you understand? We already talked about how much trust that
Yeah.
you got to put out.
Yes.
Can't,
Absolutely.
cannot do it. Cannot. No, 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 no. Cannot. And that's really what my goal is. And just like I said, just keep it up with my healthy. I think my healthy eating habit because it trickles to my little one
Mhm.
because like I boil some, for example, I boil some sausage and cabbage and onions together, right, and season it, sprinkle, sprinkle. And so when I gave it to her, she's just like, of course she ate the sausage. Like who wouldn't? Like who wouldn't? I said, hey, you gotta eat them cabbages. She's like,
Right.
cabbages. And her face was the most thickest face you ever saw. And I was like, yeah, you want more sausage? Yeah, eat more cabbage. And it's like transferring to her where she's like, she's eating it. She's
Nice.
eating the strawberries that I buy, the broccoli, the green beans. She's eating what I'm eating, and
Oh,
I'm eating
good.
healthy. So I want to keep that for her, making sure she takes her vitamins like I do. So it's like stuff like that. I want to
Very
keep the
cool.
healthy eating habit because it trickles. That's my long, very, very long response to my
No.
2020,
So,
21.
like, for your own personal development, I know you were saying that you wanna develop personally, on yourself, you weren't really too sure, but, like, I guess if you had to choose a really, like, main thing that you really want to be, I guess you can say, improved upon, what would you choose? Like, about yourself? We're getting
Myself personally, well, I still go to therapy.
okay.
And one of the main kind of like center issue of all, like the centerpiece to all my other kind of runoff issues, is that I don't have a lot of confidence in myself
Mhm.
to make certain decisions during difficult situations.
Like, with, like, pressure, you kinda doubt yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can, and I'm very, as you can tell, and hopefully you guys breakthrough buddies as well, that I try to think through certain things. And sometimes I feel like even with all this A to Z stuff, I feel like sometimes I'm like, this is the correct answer on paper, but am I confident with this answer that I'm about, or this action I'm about to choose? And I second guess myself a lot. And I don't have a lot of confidence in myself to make the right decision, even though it is the right decision. It's been going good. We've been good.
Mhm.
But it's just I have that underlying issue of being inadequate.
Mhm.
And so I know they'll start now, but
You're not inadequate, you're amazing.
thank you, buddy. But that's like I said, that's kind of one of the bottom, like kind of like the root of a lot of. That's the word where I'm trying to go with root. A
Gotcha.
lot of other things I'm trying to tackle is that I feel this inadequacy about myself.
Mhm.
So I try to do other things to compensate in my mind where I could do something where someone is like, that is great for someone who is, about me. That's great that you were able to accomplish it. And I'm like, no, there's more. There
Mhm.
has to be more for me to
Right.
really feel this thing
Accomplish.
accomplishment. Yeah. So yeah. So I feel
Right.
like one of the areas again in my inadequacy is that I don't really know how to cook. I mean, let me say this. I do know how to cook. I don't know recipes off the back of my head.
I was gonna say, like, you were just talking about cooking General like, Chow's chicken and all these
I
other
mean,
things.
it's like I don't have like a head full of recipes that I
Okay.
feel like other people could. Cause I'm quick to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich and some cucumbers and some ranch and some water, and that's my dinner.
Mhm.
Like I'm good. but and my baby, because it hits the food groups that we need, or juice for her, and it hits the food groups and all the other stuff. So like, it's nothing unhealthy in what she's eating or what I'm eating, but it's not like a meal, like
Right.
just growing up and having meals. Like I don't do that, and I want to be able to be a little bit more confident. I do not like being in the kitchen. Like
Mm,
I really, after 30 minutes, I'm over it.
I feel
Like
you.
I'm over it. Like just so over it. Like I gotta do something else. Like I hate it. I hate it here. So
I
that's
hate it in this area.
I hate it in this area. So if I could improve on my cooking skills, like just be more confident. Like if you were just an example, I got this. Also, so if you're like Rissy Ray, I have this piece of meat. I'm not gonna use it here, and I'm like, thank you. What do I do with it?
Mhm.
I already know by looking at it and what's in my kitchen. I already know what I'm gonna make.
Right.
And that's kind of where the conference I would like to be, where you give me a slab of whatever it is, and I can be like, oh, it's a roast, and I'm gonna marinate it, or just a casserole or something, so that I know.
Gotcha.
So I think
Gotcha.
that's an area that a lot of people, because a lot that's like one of the number one dating questions is, can you cook? I'm like, I'm learning. That's why I tell everybody, I'm learning. They're like, that's what's up. That's
Not
what's
good
up.
enough.
That's it. So New Year resolutions for you, Khadija?
Uh, so let's see. There's a good amount. I mean, one that you did touch on is something that I've really been thinking about. So at the end of 2020, I for work, I created a a list of lesson learned for myself. So I'm moving from one department to another department, really in a week or so at this point. And I created a list of lessons learned of what things I've learned by being in the teams that I was in 2020. So things that I feel like I should have done better on, some things that I should have paid more attention to or done differently. So, and based off of some feedback that I've gotten from some of my coworkers and some friends that I work with. So, I'm really trying to, well, I'm planning, I'm really trying to utilize those lessons learned and not just say, yeah, I wrote down lessons learned and that's it. Like, I really wanna utilize them and be better at my role and be a better 'cause I'm a scrum master, so what is that? Just I'm a coach for my team, and I want to be better at that for this new team that I'm going to be on.
Okay.
So and it goes to what you mentioned too, is being more confident in your decisions and what you say. So for me, I feel the same way for myself because I can see there's such a clear difference on how people react when you're confident. At least if you sound confident in what you're saying or what you're portraying to another person.
Mhm.
And when you don't sound confident, people lose that sense of credibility with you and even that sense of reliability with you, especially at work. So they're like,
True.
if you say something, or is it really true? Is it really what you want? But if I'm confident, more confident in what I say, people tend to listen better or listen more and have more of an open mind when I am confident. So that's something, me too, that I want to work on personally. Um,
Which, by
also,
the way, I just to let
yeah,
you know what you're doing. That's what irks me the most. It's like you know what you're doing. It's just like you gotta portray it to other people,
yes,
and it's just like, ugh,
yeah, exactly. So sometimes, like, I want to be like, well, we could do this, but I would suggest we do that. And then me coming off saying, well, we could do this, but I suggest do that. That people can take that as I don't know what I'm talking about. But really what I'm saying,
oh,
yeah. So really what I'm saying is there is flexibility here, but there I suggest a better route. But as a coach, I'm not one I shouldn't tell you what to do all the time. That's not my role. My role is to help you come up with your own decisions and your own routes on where you want to go so that you own it. And then you can go through that pathway to learn from it. But people think of me as, tell me what I need to do. No, that's not my role. And then they take that differently whenever I'm saying, well, we have a few options here. You can do this, that, that, but I suggest this. They're like, well, then you don't really sound confident in really which direction we should take. I'm like, no, I suggest this, but I want you to pick what direction we take,
Oh,
because that's the
snap.
point.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
hmm So I want to be a little bit better with that. And of course, eating healthy, you are way light years ahead of me on eating healthy. Here I am eating coquito, drinking coquito, alcohol,
Some good stuff.
some good stuff. But I suck at cooking. I don't like cooking either. I just don't like it. I'll bake. I will bake up a storm, and that's my downfall. Because I rather bake a cake or cookies than cook vegetables.
I'm
So
sorry.
okay.
I'd rather bake a cake and cookie. And I'm like, I can get with this. I can get with this.
Exactly. So I need to be better with how I'm consuming food, how much food I'm consuming,
Yeah,
because I know this is a typical New Year's resolution, but I want to lose weight.
right.
I want to lose 30 pounds. I was saying 50 before, but I'm
Oh
gonna try to
Lord,
be more realistic and say 30.
that's still high.
Yeah, but man, I need to lose it. And especially if I like for my honeymoon with in quote Tyler, you know, I'm gonna be gaining some weight with that cruise food. And I don't want to come back and not fit into any of my clothes and have a whole other issue. So I'm really trying to lose 30 pounds by the wedding. And we'll talk more about diets and health and all that stuff in our next podcast. But that's kind of what I want to do is really look into eating healthier, not
Mhm.
eating when I'm bored, and
I
actually
mean,
exercising. Hmm?
yeah. I mean, you said not eat what I'm like, I mean, sometimes you just need a cookie. Like,
A cookie every hour?
it's
10 cookies?
difficult. It's difficult being a you. Okay, I can't, like it's hard, like to
You're
say
giving me too
it's
much
hard being
benefit.
you. It's hard being you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's hard being you, and but I mean that makes sense. Exercise more
Mhm.
because that's just your our bodies are designed to move. I don't care
Yes.
what anyone says. Your body is designed to move. It us
Yes.
being sedentary. That's okay. That's cool because it could be through your job, right? Like things like that where there is no movement. Okay, and we all have to make a living.
Mhm.
But we do gotta move. Our body needs that because that's where if you ate like a bucket of fried chicken, I'm just using chicken as an example. That hey, that's stuff in your system. We got to do something with it. If you're not drinking a lot of water to flush it out or do number two out, like what are you doing? It's just staying there. That's like fat in your system. You
Right.
gotta exercise. So I can dig it. I can dig.
Exactly.
Okay. So what do you like to do for exercise right now?
Nothing. But so what I typically like to do is I like to go swimming. And
Okay.
I
Okay.
need to have more of that motivation to swim, to go to a place and swim. Um, I right now, so I'm a little concerned with how my body health is because if I walk for too long, my hips and my knee, like specifically on my right side, are in excruciating pain. And like to the point where I'm limping after a while.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, it is painful. So that and I have definitely felt like my joints have been very stiff. Like I can't turn my head to the I think yep, to the to the right for too
Hmm.
much before it starts to hurt my neck. And it's not like me trying to do my head 360 degrees or whatever. Like I'm just trying to turn my head to the right, like when I'm driving or whatever. And I honestly want to say is because of working remotely, I'm not moving around a lot. So I do want to get more into like a Pilates or yoga, stuff like that. So really help stretch my body more and hopefully that can help out with the pain. Because my ankles, they swell when I walk for too long. They start to hurt and my feet start to hurt. So obviously I need to lose some weight.
Lord Jesus.
My body is breaking down And you're absolutely right. Humans should not be sedentary. And I have been too sedentary due to 2020 staying
Mm,
at home. I've definitely let my health kind of decline with not moving around a lot. So, because before then, I used to walk like 2 blocks every morning and every afternoon, just walking to and from my car or to and from the office.
oh.
So I had no idea, did not even realize how beneficial just those 2 blocks were in the mornings and in the afternoons. And just walking, getting up and getting my lunch and maybe walking out and buying something or walking to one room to another room for meeting. You know,
Mm,
everything is
mhm,
remote. So I just click, 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 next meeting, click, next meeting, click, next meeting. So, and there's a possibility my company, we're not going to be going back to the office until March. And for my department, it's a possibility that we could stay remote permanently, or at least semi-permanently.
forever?
We have an option to do that. And so, which I'm thinking, well, if I want to have kids in 2022, that'd be a good option because I'll be able to stay home. But if I'm going to be home, I need to have a routine, like a healthy routine. And that's kind of, and we can definitely talk more about this in our next podcast, but that's kind of, I'm really trying to work through it in my head of, I really just need to hunker down, just, just do it. Don't think too much. 'Cause I used to plan everything and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Wake up in the morning. I don't even care if I'm too tired. I just need to do something. Maybe I'll wake up an extra hour early and walk around the neighborhood in the morning, so maybe I'll do that. Also, I want to get a puppy. So that is my goal. I will get a puppy this year. I have put in some applications through Pet Finder and I'm hoping I can hear back.
I
Oh,
get with you.
I want my dog.
Well, I want you to have the dog too. Which, which I think is a good segue to some information I saw on the internet about New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
And according to a study that was published by the Journal of Clinical Psychology, that only 46% of people who made New Year's resolutions for 2020 were successful. Well, no, in general, are
Mhm.
successful. Which I think that's actually a really good percentage that you make that a New Year's resolution. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a New Year's resolution. That as how we uh oh Lord Jesus.
Transition.
The water. Sorry, the water.
The
The water.
water must be
God
that pure, huh?
dang, pure water. that that's goal oriented. Like New Year's resolutions are goal oriented.
Mhm.
And for me, I used to not do quote unquote New Year's resolutions. I would just say I'm just gonna be better, and it's kind of like I've been kind of lucky with that, and it just things have been better for me.
Mhm.
But they're saying that that there are people who do not make New Year's resolutions, right?
Right.
But they have a goal. So this study also includes people who do not make a New Year's resolution, but had a goal that they wanted to achieve that year, and only 4% of people who did not make an actual New Year's resolution were actually successful.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of like it's like a mind over matter. Like, hey,
Yeah.
my New Year's resolution is to. That's why I don't go to no one's gym the first. I don't go in January. Period.
Oh,
January
no.
is off limits for the gym.
It's
Screw
always so
that.
busy.
Screw that.
Yeah.
But it's helping people's goals, and I'm like, okay, so what are the top 10 New Year's resolutions?
Mhm.
Which we already know.
Mhm.
Number one is to exercise more.
Mhm.
Two is to lose weight.
Mhm.
Three is to get organized, which I do
See
need
it?
to do that too.
I can see it though. I can see people wanting to do that.
Papers are a little bit everywhere, and when you have when you do taxes and stuff, they can I forgot the window of time, but they can go back on your taxes like years to like, hey, furnish this stuff for you. And I switched banks and stuff and everything. So I'm like, oh, it's too late now. I can go back now. It's
Move
over
out of the
now.
country.
Right, exactly. So, get organized so I can like my parents kind of like
Mhm.
have a file cabinet with everyone's information together. So I'm not like just buzzing through like where's my social security card, where's my birth certificate? It's right here.
Right.
So get organized. Learn a new skill or hobby. So Kaninja,
Hmm.
new skill or hobby. I know that's not part of your New Year's resolution, but if you could make learning a new skill or hobby one of them, what would it be?
So I guess I don't know if you would call this like a new skill, but I mean I take a weapons class. So we're be going to get our black belt in our nunchucks. And I believe it's in March.
Oh
So
snap!
that's something that I'll have my black belt in nunchucks in March. And hopefully I think the next one they're gonna do is Tonfa. So maybe that will be like a new skill as well. But I mean, oh, it'd be cool. So I'm writing a story
Oh
and
snap!
yeah, and I've been on and off about it. And I should really, get down to business and really write that story. That's a good one. I
What
like
is
that.
it? What kind of story is it?
Why you gotta say it like that? Why you gotta ask it like that?
I honestly thought it was adult.
Oh, erotica.
Yep, that. So that's why I didn't get to it. I'm like, you gotta get to it. Okay.
So it's not an erotica, but I have been thinking about writing one like that. But no, this one's a little bit different. It's called, at least the current name is called The Forgotten One.
Oh snap!
So we'll if I ever do get it published, you'll hear it first, folks. About the forgotten ones.
You know
So
what? Let's just do a children's book. Let's just do one book, get
okay,
3 words, mix it up, and we're gonna write a story about it.
let's do it. I'll draw.
Okay, we're gonna do it. So we're gonna do a children's book. That's our New Year's resolution right here. We're gonna do
Hey.
one children's book. We expect to at least sell 2 copies.
Yes,
Okay,
and
one for
that'll
me
be
and
our
one for
parents.
you. Oh, I I was thinking that part. Like you buy one, I buy one. That's it.
All right, 4 copies.
4 copies. Um, but that's neat. That's neat. That's I see. I didn't know that. That's a thing as a new skill, new or hobby.
Are you writing these down so we can remember?
Oh, we got the internet, ma'am. We
Oh,
have the
that's right.
internet. We'll remember this forever.
We need to come back to the New Year near me.
Oh my goodness. The only thing I would like to know as a skill
Hmm.
would be to learn how to do a split. And it's
Ooh, good luck.
everything not PG. I want to learn how to do a split. Okay. That's it. Little
Gotta
one,
do
she dances, so that's why. Like she does it so. Kids they're so flexible, right?
a yep.
So when she does it, she just jumps up and
Ooh.
I'm like, oh snap.
And we could do
Okay.
yoga together. And then at one point we can do a split.
Yeah, yes, yeah. That's what we want. We want to learn how to do splits. Okay,
Okay.
that's our new thing.
You can do that in the
5.
wedding. I'm
Tyler's
booking you
gonna look
now.
at both. Tyler is gonna look at both of us like, what kind of friend? One, what kind of friends you got? 2, I can't believe this. Like,
I'd be like, you stuck now. There's no going back.
oh goodness gracious. So we're just doing splits in your wedding. I
Yep.
understand. They're just like, what the world? You're like, yeah, new skill.
New Year's resolution.
So I can
We're
get
at 43% or 46%.
Lord Jesus. We're the part of the 46%. Be successful. So 5 is live life to the fullest.
Well, that's kind of
So
broad.
very broad. That's super uber broad because it's your definition of what is fullest. Some people may say, hey, I want to go to church more. I've noticed that as a like kind of their definition of like being more complete by going to church. I mean, it's everyone's view, right?
Mhm.
Going to church, traveling,
Mhm.
meeting new people, new place. Or that's traveling. What's it? I don't really like living life to the fullest. Like, what would be your definition, Kaninja, of living your life to the fullest?
So like traveling or, rekindling old relationships. Um,
Oh,
maybe uh finishing school,
okay.
getting a new job, kind of like that. All right, I'm going to that next step or learning new that's traveling, learning new cultures and stuff like that. Uh,
Ooh,
maybe stuff like that. Winning the lottery? No, I'm just kidding.
dude, if we could win that sucker,
Dude,
just
we could
saying,
buy listeners.
like, mm, mm-mm. So we're. I do want to watch. I do. This is. I don't know this will happen, but I want to be one of the audience members in Maury.
Do you really?
I do. I want this. I want the camera to look at me as I say "boo."
Or fight, fight,
Fight,
fight.
fight, fight. That's Jerry Springer. I want Jerry Springer too. I want to be up there because they keep saying that Jerry Springer is fake or whatever, and I'm just like, maybe, but I want to be there where they're like, I just want to be in the crowd. I want to be in the crowd of some talk show.
He is not the father.
So I would like to be an audience member at one of the daytime shows. Either there's so many different ones I can't even name it. It's just Maury. It's just I remember it growing up. I mean, there's
Mm,
other shows obviously growing up, but I just know Maury. Like when you're off school or school's
yeah,
off, you're sick or whatever, you watch Maury. Like
yeah.
and the way they say, okay, Maury, uh, love it. So that would be my life syphilis. Number 6 is save more money or spend less.
I can see that. I could definitely see that. I probably won't be saving any money because of the wedding.
Yeah, that's kind of out the window for that part. And then I already told you I'm booking a cruise as soon as something happens. I'm booking a cruise now.
Mhm.
So I'm already in a deficit.
Pre-deficit.
A pre-deficit already because I've already said I'm going to do, and then that's what's going on. So
Right.
that sounds good. To spend less, save more,
Mhm.
spend less. Great deal. But for Kaninja and Rissy Ray, that is not in our. That is not there.
Maybe in
That's
2022.
2022 ish. Yes,
Maybe.
maybe. So, 7, which doesn't quite apply to us, but it is a New Year's resolution, is quit smoking, which I
Mm,
believe is kind of under the umbrella of like vaping, like some people who vape.
yeah. It's kinda like that being healthier kinda thing.
Yeah, the jury's out on that because I know I've seen study on both where vaping is just as damaging as smoking.
Mm.
And then I've seen where they're like, no, vaping is safer than smoking. And I'm like, guess what? Don't do either. So we're
Yeah.
good.
I'm healthy in that perspective.
Yeah, that perspective, yeah, yeah. As I eat my greasy chicken sandwich, yeah, that
And my cookies.
in my cookies, in my cookies. Number 8, which I think does really definitely apply to us, is spending more time with family and friends.
Yes, yes. Especially the friends part. I'm an unsociable bird, so I think spending more time with you and with our other friends, I think that would be a really cool New Year's resolution.
I'm interested in how we do it for next year. Other than talking
Yeah,
on the phone, video, like how excuse me, how other people are doing it. So
yeah.
spending time with family and friends. Like for example, some of my friends were getting together and doing like we did a virtual holiday party.
Oh, nice.
And she kind of make it festive. What did I do? Like, you wear a sweater, have your favorite drink,
Mhm.
play some music in background. So that's number 8. And let's see here. 9, travel more, which is you.
Mhm. And you get that cruise going.
Mm. We'll see. Well, that's what we want. That's what we want. We travel because I did what a lot of people. Okay, so obviously with the pandemic, traveling, different other so many restrictions happen, right?
Mhm.
That made you like, man, I'm not shaking or moving anytime soon. Well, I know you went to Las Vegas. I was gone for like 3 days. I went to Myrtle Beach at some point, and we were just like, okay, we're just gonna we're just gonna be safe. We're just
Yeah,
gonna be safe,
yeah, especially after the scare of Las Vegas. I'm like, "I'm staying home."
dude. Absolutely, absolutely. And let me see and the last. Well, not it's not the last, but number 10 is reading more.
I can see that as well.
I try to get into reading. I'm not gonna lie. Me and one of my close coworkers, we got a book club, like a unofficial book club together. Got an author. We did like the book, but school happened to me. Life happened. I'll say life happened to me, and I stopped reading. And what I should have done now, looking back, I bought the physical book because obviously you as some. I think it's so cool you have a personal library.
Yeah, yeah.
So I put up the personal book, but my coworker, she bought the book in an Audible.
Oh. Okay.
And
So, is using an Audible book, is that really considered reading?
maybe reading and listening time, like your kindergarten.
But is it really reading?
Okay, I'm only gonna say it's reading because you get a picture in your mind, like if you were reading,
But it's not really
and then
reading. Sorry, Rissy.
I'm getting that Audible because
It's not reading.
you're like, it's not really reading. I was like, it's a book being read to us. Like,
You're not reading it. You'd be better off watching a movie. They're still talking to you.
I can't with you. I can't with you. But see, listen though, I got the book and I didn't finish it. But we're gonna talk. Me and her, we're gonna talk about it like later on. Like once I get to finishing, hopefully this week. I'll use this week as my time to try to finish that book. But that's this is a new age. You gotta use technology, Kaninja.
Okay, I can compromise on reading if you have the audiobook or audiobook and you're following along with your physical book.
That's doing too much.
Then you're not reading.
You
You're
know what?
listening.
Let me do this. Is listening to an audio books the same as reading? Are audiobooks as good for you as reading? Oh, and they're just like you too. They just
It
said
says
that this
not reading.
oh my god, even those who love books, da, 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 da. I was a fan of audiobooks, but I also view them as cheating. Cheating?
Yeah.
But is listening to a book really the same as reading one? Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Is it the same like benefit? We're kind of running out of time of our podcast anyway. We can talk about this later, but
I'm just saying
is it the
they
same
took
benefit?
I'm just letting you know this professor. I
Google.
know this Beth R, an associate professor of education at Bloomsburg University of Pennsylvania, did a 2016 study. Okay, and she found out of the group no significant difference in comprehension between reading and listening simultaneously.
Professor Google.
Same thing. It's the same
What's
thing.
what's number 10?
That was 10.
That was 10.
That was 10. That was it. That was it. That was all 10. All 10. Yeah, we went through them.
Awesome. Rissy, that was amazing. I like that how you gave those the top 10 resolutions and how you try to fight that audiobooks are the same as reading books.
I want a poll out today.
All right, break room buddies. We need to hear your voice. Is listening to audiobooks the same as reading books? And you can take it any way. I'm thinking benefits are not the same. But what the jury is almost out. Let us know. Comment on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our Twitter. Send us an email on ourbreakroom@gmail.com. Let us know what your thoughts are because we need to settle this. All right. Awesome. So we're gonna go right into our final thoughts. Um, 30 seconds each and on what we thought about today. I know we had a lot of different discussions. 2021 is just started and it's gonna be fantastic. So Rissy, are you ready?
Yeah, I tapped on my calculator. I was like, I'm ready. I definitely did that. I was like, oh, I'm ready.
And this is what happens when you listen to audiobooks. You get to read books.
Okay. Ready, set, go. I feel that 2020 was a great um, time and opportunity for a lot of people to really look into themselves, look at reflecting, and see what they could do better for the new year. So I wish everyone uh, good luck. I hope that everyone is able to reach whatever goals they have set for them for this new year. And I can't wait for everyone to tell us how they reached their goal. I'm done.
Awesome. All right. So I guess I'll go. 3, 2, 1. So yeah, 2020 was a interesting year, has some ups and downs. Definitely, we talked about some of the ugly. Hopefully, that ugly does not come on to 2021. I am looking forward to now our children's book that we're going to be writing and some
Hmm.
other resolutions that we've made today. So keep us honest and let us know what you guys are thinking about your resolutions as well. We can keep everyone honest and maybe we can up that 46% to maybe 50% this year. So of people who have achieved their New Year's resolution. And that is my final thoughts.
Perfect.
Awesome. So be sure to comment and leave what your plans are for this year on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Or you can send us an email at ourbreakroom@gmail.com. Here's to our break room buddies to a better and positive year. Thank you all for listening in. Bye, break room buddies.
Bye.
Thank you for spending your break with us. Time to get back to the grind. For some suggestions on what we talk about next time, send us an email at ourbreakroom@gmail.com. See you next time, break room buddies.